All right, in this next video, we're just going to jump in with this text and take it a little step further. And we're going to start to do some, just real quick, some basic animation with the text. So let's say I'm going to have this guy a little bit further down because I'm going to put something else. Maybe, actually, let's do it right here. And I want to bring these in. So it's always a good spot to kind of start with where you're at, where you wanted things to wind up, and then go backwards to animate them. So in other words, I want it to wind up here. I'm going to have an icon here. And just to kind of give me a little balance, I'm going to go in and later on we'll bring in a logo, but I'm just showing you the tools. Let's go and make what's called a shape. So when I go up here and click, you see I have these different shapes. And I'm just going to use a, let's just use a, let's use a elliptical tool. And so I'm going to drag just like this. And you see when I do, it makes a shape. Okay. Now here's my shape color. I could change it to something different. Something like this. If I choose this arrow here and I put it, you see it's on top. So if I want it underneath, I have to drag this layer underneath those layers. And now you can see it's here. If I want these guys to stand out more, then maybe now is a good time to give them, just sample this. I want to put a fill, boom, and give it an outline like that. And maybe the stroke, which is here, how big that is, doesn't need to be that big. It's like 3 points or three. Let's see. Let's drop you to 1. Yeah, that's cool. Just enough to pop it so it doesn't get lost in the color. And maybe this guy doesn't need an outline. So if I select this, we could see here's the outline there. And we'll keep it like that for right now because we can do some other stuff. I want to just jump in and start moving things. And there's another way of doing this. I'm just going to do it with a shape, but let's just start from here. This is my character info. This is my stroke and everything up here. So, all right, let's go. And here's where I would adjust it. Let's turn that to 0. So now we have no stroke weight. There we are. Fill, stroke color if we're using it, no stroke at 0 pixels, so we're there. So I want to animate this. And so let's start with the shape. And let's say I want to animate you. So here's how we're going to do it. We can animate all sorts of stuff. Remember, I can use those shortcuts like S for scale, P for position. So I hit P for position. I'm going to hit S. So now I have them both exposed. And if I hit the space bar, it plays how many seconds. So let's say it's going to take, let's start at just 2 seconds. And I'm going to zoom in on this area so I can see more. This is how I zoom in and out of the timeline. So there's more timeline. I'm just zoomed in to just one area. So we're just going to zoom in right about there. Okay. And maybe a little bit more, right about there. So let's say right about here, because if I pull back, hit spacebar, how long does it take to get there? Boom. And we can always change it, but I'm going to say right about here, I want to key into that position the scale and the position just by clicking, and that shows there's a key, and there's my keyframes. And then let's say we're going to go way back here, and I want it to come out of this corner, and you see it's dragging and moving a motion line. So I want it off screen. And this is a little bit off, so I might not, I might change that, but right now if I want to change it, it would be this guy that would move it to where the center of this is, right? And I just have to make sure that when I go there, boom, is it where I want it to be? And if it isn't, let me go back here, back to that keyframe and say, nope, I want you a little bit more right about there. Okay. So we've got that, and if I scrub, you could see, oh, it just comes right in like this. But we want it a little bit fancier. So we're going to shrink you down. So for that, I'm just, when I'm on this first keyframe, let's go all the way back. We have our key set. And what I want to do is take this and just scale it down so it's really small. And you can see like, oh, whoosh, it's coming in like that. And I could even, when I just keep going back, zoom in a little, space bar to move around. Let's move you a little bit closer because you're smaller. And now let's go back. See that? Now, maybe I wanted to kind of pull. So right about here, I wanted to kind of swoop in. So all I have to do is just grab this, and you see it's actually editing the animation curve. You see that? Right there. And then I can even grab these handles and start to pull and tweak them out to adjust the curve itself. This is really, really cool because then I can just have more dynamic motion. I can now go in and say, oh, you know, let me zoom in a little bit. Maybe you're going to, oops, want to be careful not to do scaling, but I want you to kind of sweep out like this, like whoosh, like that. You got to make the sounds too. Just like that. And then I tweak this out, looking at these curves and based on how I want that to happen. Maybe just like that. There we go. So hit spacebar. Boom. If I say it looks awesome, but it's taking too long, I'm just going to grab these keys here, just left mouse drag, and just pull them over. Pull this over to balance it. Now let's try. Here, let's try that. Right, so I've got my first animation. I've got my little shape, my little moon kind of thing to just come in, whoosh, coming in. And now I want to animate these guys. Now these guys I could do differently, and I'll just do it again. Let's take this one here, and I'm going to show you two ways of animating that you're going to dig. So let's start with this one. It's the motion, same deal. I'm going to select it. This one, I'm just going to press P. And so this goes whoosh. And then right after it, I want it to drop to where it is here. So I'm just going to key the position. And then I'm just going to pull back. And I could just do it this way, pull it way up there. So it's like this guy comes in, whoosh, pop, and this guy just pops right in. Oh, I want it to be even faster. Just tighten it up. Less space between the keyframes less space between the keyframes means it's a faster motion. All right, I might even take these and say there's a little bit more of a pause, so I'll move them. Space bar, bam. All right. And it's fast, but I want to add a quick motion blur. So I'm just going to click on this guy right here. Bam. Now watch. And we see we have that motion blur going on. Look at that. Sweet. And now we'll animate this one. So I go right here. Once again, we're going to key it. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take both of these and move them down. And then take the graphics. And I'm going to do something different with this one. So with this one, actually, you know what? Let's cut it here. And then I'm going to make a new video. So in this video, we went over animating, creating a shape and animating it. And in the next video, we're going to go, and we also created, boom, just added a motion blur and animated this guy. Next video, we're going to do something a little special with the graphics.